Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. Today I want to speak directly to anyone who has ever felt like they've been through too much, that they've lost too much, or wasted too much time to still be valuable. To the person who looks back at their life and feels like they've missed the best part, or that all they have left are scraps, pieces too small to do anything with. But what if I told you that what you've got left is still worth something, maybe even everything? You see, in life, we often believe that our worth is based on how much we still have, whether that's money, whether it's youth, love, reputation, strength, or opportunity. But the truth is, what you have left, even if it's just a little, is still deeply valuable, because what you have left is you, and you are still here. And while life may have taken a lot from you, it hasn't taken everything. It hasn't taken you. So let's start with a simple phrase you've probably heard. One person's trash is another person's treasure. Or maybe you've heard it said this way, that one man's trash is another man's treasure. And think about that. How many times have you discarded something only to realize later that someone else saw beauty and value in it? Whether it's an old chair, a scribbled poem, an old book, or even a version of yourself that someone else could have loved, but they didn't. Instead, they mishandled you. They used you, abused you, and without any thought at all, like trash, they simply discarded you. But I'm here to tell you that those pieces aren't worthless. They were just misplaced, misunderstood, and handed over to the wrong person. Sometimes people don't see your value, not because you don't have any, but because you were in the wrong environment. Like a rare gemstone left sitting in a drawer somewhere as junk, or a designer handbag at a garage sale. Your worth hasn't changed, but your setting and your environment did. Let's talk about something simple as a bottle of water. We all drink water. I mean, a bottle of water is something that you can buy at any corner store for $1 or so. But walk into an airport terminal or a luxury resort, and suddenly that same bottle of water will cost you $5 or more. Now think about it. Did the water change? Nope. It didn't change. It's still plain water. But what changed? The environment. The environment of that water, it changed. So always remember that your surroundings influences how your value is perceived, not your actual value. That's something worth remembering, especially when you're in a place or around people who make you feel small. You have to remember, you're out of place. You're in the wrong environment, but your worth, your value still remains the same. Now let me tell you a story, not from a religious standpoint, but from a human one. A very familiar story that is found in the Bible. There's an old account, often told as a spiritual lesson, but strip away the religious language and is just as powerful. A crowd of thousands had gathered outside on a very, very hot day just to hear a wise teacher speak. They were hot, they were tired, and they were hungry, and there was barely any food around. Then out of the crowd, a brave and kind young boy stepped up with 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish. I mean, hardly enough to even feed himself, much less thousands of people. But what happened next was remarkable and miraculous. And not just because of the supernatural, but because of what it taught us. You see, those few pieces were shared, and somehow, it managed to feed every single person. Not just enough to get by, but the story said they ate till they were full. They ate in abundance. And at the end, there were 12 baskets of leftovers. Now let's not get caught up in the miracle. Let's talk about the meaning behind the story. Here was something that seemed insignificant, insufficient, small, and barely enough. But someone offered up what they had, even though it was little. And instead of dismissing what they had, that offering was received. It was respected. It was honored. It was used. And it multiplied. And even today, in our everyday lives, that's exactly what happens when we stop minimizing what we bring to the table. You may feel like your gifts, your talents, your energy, or your story isn't enough. But in the right hands or in the right moment, it can become more than enough. Not just for you, not just for your family, but for others. And even the leftovers in that story mattered, because that wise teacher said, listen, don't throw anything away. Gather the pieces. Pick up everything, all the scraps. And those leftover pieces, they filled 12 baskets full. And that's the message today. What you've got left can still be used. You are not used up. Some people, they will try to tell you it's too late, that you've passed your prime, that your mistakes have defined you, that your time is up. But here's the truth. You are not used up. No, you are not used up. In fact, every heartbreak, every setback, every fall has shaped you. And maybe you have scars left behind. Maybe you've lost things along the way. Things like relationships, money, youth, even belief in yourself. But remember, you still have something that matters. And you know what that something is? It's life. Yes, you still have life. And with that life, you have the ability to choose what to do with what remains, with your life, with what you've got left. Let me be real. Life can be hard. Life can be very, very difficult at times. We all know this. But life is also beautiful. It is full of pain and yet full of joy. And you can't somehow separate the two, because oftentimes it's the pain that teaches you how to appreciate the joy, how to look forward to good days and good times. We don't learn our deepest lessons in ease and comfort. No, I believe we learn them in the fire. We learn in the silence and in the dark. But when the light comes back, when the sun rises again, you begin to wake up to the truth that you're not the same person you were before. Now you're wiser, you're more tender, you're more discerning with your time and your energy, because you've earned your story. So wake up, rise up, and begin reclaiming your worth. It's easy to believe the voice in your head that says you're not enough anymore. It's easy to believe the lies that people tell you. It's easy to replay every mistake you've ever made and say that's who I am. But that's not true, my friend. That's just a pattern, a narrative. And narratives can change. Just because something is broken doesn't mean it's worthless. In fact, there's an art form in Japan called kintsugi, where broken poetry is repaired with gold. That's right, with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they're highlighted. The object becomes even more beautiful for having been broken. And now its story becomes part of its worth. So I wonder, what would happen if we treated our lives the same way? What if we stop hiding the cracks and the mistakes of our lives and started honoring them instead? What if we would say, yes, I've been through it. Yes, I've done that. Yes, I've been there. Yes, I've fallen. I've lost a lot. But look at what I've got left. Look at what I've built with my scraps. And look at who I've become because of it. So always remember that your leftovers are not shameful. They're sacred. And they are your raw materials. Materials that you can use to rebuild again. Sometimes we wait until we feel healed or ready or whole before we allow ourselves to try again. But let me tell you, my friends, life doesn't wait for us to be perfect, and neither should we. Healing isn't a final destination, it's a process. One that happens in layers, one that happens in motion, not in isolation, but in interaction with ourselves, with others, and with life. So if you're feeling half empty, if your confidence is running low, or if you're sitting in the aftermath of failure, again, remember, that doesn't disqualify you. It makes you human. It makes you right on schedule. So instead of seeing the glass as half empty, learn to see it as half full. And remember what you've got left, even if it's just your energy, your time, your kindness, your voice. Remember, maybe that is exactly what someone else needs. Maybe your pain is now your wisdom. Maybe your survival is now your gift. So don't be afraid of your story. Don't be ashamed of it. Because we all have chapters in our lives that we don't read out loud. But guess what? Those pages are still part of the story. They're still part of our book. They shape us. They condition us. And they have helped to make us who we are today. So know that you don't have to keep hiding your past to be seen as worthy. Your past happened, yes, but you survived it. You are still here. And what matters is what you choose to do now with your past. What you choose to do with what you've got left. So be brave. Tell your story, whether it's in words, in art form, in the way you show up in the world. It doesn't matter how. Just tell it. Your story is yours to tell. And someone needs to hear it. Because brokenness doesn't discriminate. Pain doesn't check credentials. And healing isn't just for saints. It's for everyone. It's for all of us. So don't shrink. Don't despair. Don't be ashamed. And definitely don't settle. Because let me tell you, when you realize that what you've got left is valuable, you stop settling for people. And you stop settling for places that don't recognize your value, that don't recognize your worth. You also stop shrinking yourself to fit into small spaces. You stop selling yourself short just to be accepted. You stop betraying your worth for approval. And you start investing in yourself again. You start setting boundaries. You start nourishing your dreams. You start healing from the inside out. Because you understand now what you've got left does matter. And it deserves to be honored. And as humans, I believe life is meant to be shared. I don't believe we're meant to do life alone. whether it's friendship, family, or community. I believe connections is part of what brings our value to life. Even the strongest among us needs someone to see them, needs someone to say, "Hey, I see you." Someone who reminds them of their worth, who believes in what they've got left. So don't surround yourself with people who just tolerate you. Instead, surround yourself with people who treasure you, people who see your worth, people who know how to celebrate your survival story and support your growth. And also be that person for someone else. Because in life, sometimes our greatest purpose is found in helping others rediscover theirs. So here's my encouragement for you today. Whatever you've got left, use it. Don't wait until you feel perfect. Don't hide because you feel broken. Don't believe the lie that your best days are behind you, because they are not. Your best days, my friend, are ahead of you. Remember, you have breath in your lungs. You have wisdom in your heart. You have kindness in your soul. You have experience on your side, and most of all, you have a choice. So make that choice today to show up for yourself, to stand in your story, to believe that what you've got left is more than enough to build something else that's beautiful, not just for you, but for others as well. Because sometimes your leftovers are the exact ingredients that this world needs. So let me know in the comments, what have you got left that you're finally ready to use? Is it a dream, a skill, a story, or is it just a spark? Whatever it is, it's enough to start over again. And remember, what you have got left is not just enough, it's more than enough. But now, before I let you go, I want to leave you with one final thought, something to carry with you as this year slowly comes to a close and a brand new one waits just around the corner. Endings often feel heavy. They feel final. They can bring up fear, regret, even a sense of failure. But endings aren't always about loss. They're about making room for something new. Think about it. If your arms are full of old baggage, mistakes, disappointments, relationships that no longer serves you, unprocessed pain, or whatever the case may be, then there's no space left to receive what's next. And what's next is patiently waiting. Growth wants to arrive. Peace is looking for a place to land. New experiences, better relationships, and unexpected blessings are all on their way. But you've got to create space. And that starts by recognizing that what you've been through is not wasted. It was preparation. It's data. It's wisdom. It's not just something to get over. It's something to use as foundation upon which to build something new, something stronger. And so as this year wraps up, don't just reflect, reclaim. That's right, reclaim. Take the lessons, take the wins, the losses, the hard truths, the breakthroughs, the sleepless nights, the lonely mornings, the quiet victories, and pack them all in your spiritual suitcase and get going. Because you're going to need them. You're going to need them not as burdens, but as tools, as reminders, as proof that you are more than a survivor. You are a builder, a creator, a thinker, a feeler, and a force. And then walk into the new year ready to use that wisdom, ready to use your experiences, and to use what you've got left. because what's left is you. And you are still powerful. You are still capable. And you are still worth believing in. You don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. You just have to believe that moving forward is still worth it. So take a breath. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've made it through. And get ready to step into the new year, not as someone who's starting over in shame, but as someone who's stepping up with strength, with courage, and with wisdom. And here's my question for you. What have you learned this past year that you're now finally ready to use in the next chapter of your life? I'd love to hear your answers in the comments, because your story might just be the inspiration someone else needs to hear. So until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep shining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. And never forget, what you've got left is not just enough, it's more than enough. Bye for now.